If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Sylacauga Mayor Jim Heigl joins us this morning. Mayor, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jim Dale.
It's a beautiful day to be going around town with a little light rain in the area.
A little light rain, but it'll dissipate later on today, and I think we'll have a good night for the ball game tonight.
Absolutely. Talk about what is on everybody's mind, including families and individuals. It's budgeting and budgeting going on at City Hall.
Budgeting is, we've had 3 meetings. I turned my budget over to the council back before the 1st of October, and it's going quite well. First, second meeting went fairly well, and this last meeting went real well. So I think we're to the point. We still haven't got the budget. The council still has to approve it. But we're so close, I believe it may come up on November the 6th.
Talk about some of the highlights of the proposed budget.
Well, my proposed budget really level funding pretty well all the way through. I look at the things we need. In the street department, they were in bad need of 2 lawnmowers, dump truck, and a bush hogger a tractor. A lot of their equipment is old. We need to bring them back up to date. Those were my main things. Of course, capital expenditures will take care of the other needs. 10 police cars, that's already been approved and prior to the budget, and also the other departments have issues. The bay of the fire department has to be paved, not paved, but has to be painted. It's in pretty bad shape. And we have some door issues at a fire station too that come out of capital expenditures.
Now there were, the fire chief asked for 6 new firefighters. I think there's 3 that's included in this budget, is that correct?
Firefighters, yes, permanent firefighters, 2 per shift. That will wind up being that way. It'll be 6 total, but right now he's getting 3 of them this year, and you get 3 next year. Okay. That'll add another permanent firefighter per shift. And we're very fortunate to have a fire person that will be starting next month.
What does that mean?
That means that's a female. She's an ex-Marine, and she's very highly qualified for the position.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
So I look forward to that.
Is she the first female firefighter?
Wow. I can't, well, as far as I know, she is the first. Yeah. So,
is the budget in pretty good shape as far as our city is concerned?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it is. I think the council is well satisfied with it, too. It's a $15 million budget, and everything is covered. We've got the money. We got a little bit of surplus. We got a little cushion there, so we're in pretty good shape. If anything comes up between here and next October, I think we'll be in pretty good shape to cover it with the revenue that we have.
Talk about where we are with the street paving.
Street paving is almost complete. We've got probably, well, this weather's going to hold us up. So we're probably looking at another 3 weeks, depending on the weather. But we finished the main issues that the heaviest traveled, the worst streets in the city. Now we have 6 alternate streets that we're going to be working on now. And Dunn will be in here. They'll start on Norton Avenue because we had an issue on Norton when we took the lights down, so they'll be putting in permanent vinyl striping in that area to help to control the traffic. And also they'll come on Fort Williams. Also we'll have vinyl striping and inserts and also reflectors.
Speaking of the traffic lights, that got a rise out of some business people and some local citizens. What goes into making a decision to remove those lights?
First thing, well, we looked at the flow of traffic. A lot of people got a lot of complaints. Well, I come into First Street, Second Street, I got to sit there 45 seconds or, and then have to wait for the lights. There's nothing coming. Also, the cost of the lights, they are very expensive. These are the old mechanical type. They run off a little wheel, and they're not like the new electronics what you have on Broadway and down on 4th Street. Those are electronically controlled, and they can set those things, to stay green until the traffic comes to the left or right to the intersection, then they'll change. But the ones there, would replace them would have been a big expense item. So we tried it to see how it's going to work. And we met with 3 of the business people up and down Norton Avenue. We understand their concerns and everything else, but we hope that we let us try this and see how it works out.
Is there other older lights that are on the radar to be removed?
Not to be removed, but we do have issues with the ones on East Fort Williams and Main Avenue. We can't remove them. They're on top of a hill. The visibility and all that would be an issue. I don't see where the council would even allow that at this time,
I saw just a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, where the city and law enforcement in the city of Sylacauga putting more teeth into the truck traffic because we've got these new streets and cost a lot of money, and this truck traffic is a real problem at times.
You got it. That we can't afford to have these 18-wheelers and big heavy trucks coming off the truck routes onto our streets, tearing up over $3 million worth of paving that we've started in the city. This is for our people, our city. The trucks have routes that they need to maintain. They need to stay on those truck routes.
How do you enforce that?
Well, signs in the police department. The signs are going up now to notify them, no trucks. They got flashers on them. They're going to be warning them to guide them through the city.
Is there warnings to begin with, or is it, you stop, you get a ticket?
Well, they've been getting tickets.
Okay.
If you go down and check with the court's office, I'm sure the truckers come down there and complain, but we can't take up the $3 million worth of paving and have it just ruined in just a couple of 3 years.
Wow. And it can easily happen too.
It absolutely can. I mean, right there on 8th Street and Broadway, truckers came in there to go and cut all over there to 280, and they cut there on 8th Street by the Parks and Rec. They tore the light down twice. I mean, tore it down. I mean, you can't make a turn like that with an 18-wheeler. So those things we have to control, and we depend on Shelley Johnson, our police.
What is the route that truckers should use if we've got
state routes?
Okay.
All those should be on their GPS, telling them where they can and cannot go.
Now, if they're just say that they're 280 eastbound, going toward Alexander City, do they go? And if they're going to, need to hit 21 and go back,
they need to go down to the intersection,
okay.
280 21. And take these routes. Well, we talked to LDOT. Of course, we've been dealing with LDOT all the time, with the Hutton development and the new lighting out there in 280 and everything else. And we brought, as you know, LDOT is now working all the way from Childersburg Bridge towards Sylacauga. And but we've asked them to look at the truck. We got a heavy amount of trucks coming out of our
industrial complex, a lot of those.
I was trying to think of Omnia and NEMAC and all those, and also IKO. There's a lot of flatbeds coming out. Well, it's not a problem, as far as the route they're taking. The problem is that there's so much traffic. We need some help with the Fayetteville Road, what we can do with why we've been working with the county and working with our House representative to see what we could do to open up that road to make it safer. A lot of trucks have to pull off the side and wait to be loaded until the plant opens up, and a lot of traffic has to go around, and we have some bad accidents on that road. Of course, some of it's been due to speed, but we're trying to work on that part with the county.
Sylacauga Mayor Jim Heigl, our guest this morning here on Daybreak, and it's just a week or so away from Veterans Day. How's the parade looking?
Well, looking good. John Hall, our first vice commander of the American Legion, he is the chairman of that, and Timmy Tyler has helped us last year setting up the routes and the signage and everything else. He's doing a great job with that. And anybody who would like to join in on the parade and represent our veterans and all, we're glad to have you. If we just want to decorate your car or vehicle or even put a float or whatever you like to put into it, we'd love to have you.
Being a veteran yourself, you know the importance of honoring those who have served, and not just on Veterans Day, but throughout the year.
Well, yes, that's true. We have certain days of the year, like a POW/MIA recognition, all that. We'll be doing that at Sylacauga High School. I believe it's on the 8th of November. And other schools, Indian Valley has asked us to come over there to do a program over there, and of course Fayetteville always has their Veterans Day program down there, which they do a wonderful job. It's important for us to remember because we're here because of them. It's our heroes are the ones we left over there. That's the way we look. We're not heroes. I mean, we did what we had to do, but they're the ones that really gave their all.
Absolutely. And, finally, this morning with Mayor Heigl, a couple of grants that have been made available. One of those for the downtown area.
Oh yeah. Well, that's my concern. And of course with the council too. We're not going to worry about 280 now. It's taking care of itself, and developers are already in there, and more developers are going to be coming in the future, as you'll be hearing about. But we need to concentrate on our downtown area, make it attractive and easy as possible for our merchants and for they can get their customers in and out. We have a 2015 TAB grant. Now this one takes care of the front side of the City Hall and across the street at the library. That's been on the books several years. We had to get an extension on that because usually these TAB grants only last 2 years. You got to have your engineering by that time. But we'll get that one out of the way, and then also the council's already allowed us to get to 2018 and 2019. And we'll probably be combining these two, and they've also given us permission to go after 2020 when it becomes available. These are 80-20 grants. And we'll be, the backside of the stores down here, they'll be more accessible for handicap, there'll be better lighting, there'll be better parking facilities, and hopefully that'll increase their trade downtown.
No doubt about it.
Not only the backside of 1st and 2nd Street, but over there on the west side of Broadway, on the streets over there where Magnolias and all that is, all those will be redone as well.
Is that targeted for 19? Is that when we're looking at that?
Right now, yes. Well, right now we're in the engineering process of it. That's one main thing we got to watch. When we get into these things, you could waste a lot of money with engineering, so you got to make sure you get it right the first time, and that's what we're doing with these projects here. We will be combining the 18 and 19 project together. That's going to save us money in the long run. It may push us a little bit, you know, to go from one to the other, and they may be working on this one and part of this one too, you know. That was one question that came up, and it's something to consider, you know, to be pushing it that quick. But we feel comfortable with the revenue we have and what's coming up.
Quickly this morning before we let you go, an update on the 280 corridor there. That is a busy beehive out there right now, and more to come.
It is. Well, we haven't, there is more to come.
Well, you got one building going up right there by Chick-fil-A.
Well, you know, that's Starbucks Coffee, and that's going to be Verizon's going to be right next to them. And that's coming in fairly nicely. We got some more development coming out there, but it's just a little bit early to tell.
Do you see that proposed development as becoming a reality, however, in Sylacauga?
Oh, I would hope so. I mostly hope so. But we can see it coming, you know. That's where we're getting involved with it, you know.
How much more property is able to be developed right there?
Well, it's 31 acres on that side, and we got about, I think it was 61 acres on the other side of the road. And there's a good bit of property out there to be developed. And I like your article in the paper say, well, would you like to improve Sylacauga? You said the theater. Yeah. I went up to Pell City with Delbert Marsh. Delbert is the chairman of our IDB board, Industrial Development Board here in Sylacauga. And we went up there and talked because he knew the people up there. And I wanted to find out what does it take to get a movie theater in the bowling alley. And they explained it to us. You know, it's really up to the developers, really. That's where you got to go through to get these things. But the developers have the contacts to do that, you know. Just trying to find out, because I would like to have the same thing. We need to build up our quality of life in Sylacauga. That's what's going to bring people here. That's what's going to make people want to live here, build their houses here. We got a housing shortage. We need new houses. We're in dire need of it. And we hope we can get some good developers in here and get with the younger people and the younger generation, see what kind of housing they want to invest in. Jobs. We got jobs all over this city. We can't find a way to fill it. I meet quarterly with the various industries around here, about 7 or 8 of them. You know, I sponsor a breakfast for them. And got with Susan Burrow over the trade schools and all that. And of course, John Seeger with the workforce development. Of course, he's superintendent now, but he's very much involved with that. And they meet with us also because to understand what do our industries need. And they tell us that they need people who can weld, who can millwright, who can electronics.
These are good paying jobs too.
They are. I mean, crying out loud. But of course, 70, 71, 75% of our high school kids will probably qualify for college. Some will go 4 years, some will just go 2 years, and hopefully, but we need to get them into our workforce. We get these good paying jobs for them. They'll raise their family here, build their homes here, and keep our city moving forward.
And finally this morning, the city is saddened with the passing of David Foote, a longtime business owner here in Sylacauga, Foote Brothers Furniture.
Yeah, David, God rest his soul, you know, he's a wonderful individual. People just don't realize what all he's done through his lifetime in this city. And really, I'm not sorry to lose Charlie Botter, you know, came up with Charlie years ago when we were lifeguards up the old municipal pool. I was a little younger.
You dating yourself there, man.
Well, they were older than I was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They get all the, well, I'm not going to say it. But anyway, we taught lessons up there and all. We swapped out and all. But Beth Yates, God rest her soul, you know, she sent me to Brevard, North Carolina when I was in the 11th grade during that summer and become a water safety instructor and also a lifeguard and all. And then
we lost Dale Liner a few weeks ago.
Dale Liner, what a beautiful talent that man had, and we're going to miss him. My plaque on my desk at City Hall, he made that. He made the one for the mayor, for the governor down in Montgomery. He made her marble bookends with camellias when she came here about 4 years ago. That's when Sam passed away. I remember I was down there presenting them to her, and what an honor it was to introduce him as the sculptor who built that. But Dale Liner, we're going to miss his talents and him as well.
No doubt about it.
And the best to his families.
Mayor, thanks for being with us this morning.
Well, it's my pleasure, Jimmy Dale. Thank you.
Mayor Jim Heigl, the mayor of the city of Sylacauga, spending a few minutes with us this morning. We got more Daybreak just ahead.